Hi there! Today I'm reviewing the LEGO Monkey Kid Team Secret HQ set. This set retails for $170 and comes with 1,959 pieces, which on paper is pretty good just looking at the parts per piece ratio. But let's go on to the review. Now, as I said in the introduction, this is set 80013 LEGO Monkey Kid Team Secret HQ, retailing for $170 for 1,959 pieces with 8 minifigures. Now, all of the large MK location-based sets, this is probably one of the worst ones out of the bunch. By no means is it bad though. It's actually still really good, but just compared to all of the other location-based sets like Megapolis and City of Lanterns, it's realistically the worst, purely because it feels just a little bit less detailed on the outside. However, it is still detailed a lot on the inside. Moving on, just like all of the million other LEGO Monkey Kid City sets, it has a lot of stickers. 200. Which is quite frankly too much for any LEGO set. However, this set actually does look really cool. It's arguably the most colorful set, while it's not super accurate to the actual source material, and I kind of wish that there was the actual elevator used to get to their secret underground HQ, since that was a really important part of the first time we ever saw the secret HQ. However, something that I really like a lot about the set is that they made it so that the ship has graffiti and a bunch of stuff of the like, and they actually managed to make them really actually relate to the show. Since the stickers have some relation to the Monkey Kid characters, like a Demon Bull King on a sticker, and a giant sticker saying Monkey Kid as graffiti. Now, one thing I do actually really appreciate about this and this set is that it's not just purely for display. It actually has some play features, even though they are pretty basic though. Starting from the most basic, the crane actually has the ability to rotate and twist, using actually kind of a cool technique for it. As a result, you can pick up stuff with it, such as mechs and some of the other different side builds in the set. Additionally, you can also remove the top of all of the containers and actually see inside, but since it's closed off, it's kind of hard to fit your fingers into. Luckily, the designers thought of that too and somehow made it so that the entire ship can be entirely opened up, which is actually a really cool building technique since it's using hinges, but it managed to support the entire weight of this giant set, which is honestly really impressive. Additionally, the front here has a gun, and all you have to do to show it is just grab this tire and pull a little bit, and boom. Also, you can open up these doors at the back and have some of the side builds hidden there, so whenever the Demon Bull clones come to attack you, you can just grab some of the side builds from there and immediately go into battle. Other than that though, there aren't really any side builds, but that's fine. So let's go look at the interior of the set. There are 4 rooms in this set. Even though they are in the limited space of the containers, there is a pretty decent amount of detail inside. I'm going to start off by reviewing the blue container, which is actually a pretty cool one, but also kind of bad. Now, on one hand, it did really effectively use all of its space, but on the other hand, it also has a bathroom. Come on, why on this planet would we need a toilet in this set? Of all of the parts in this set, this is the most unnecessary one. This would be the perfect time to add in an elevator, but no, a toilet would be a much better idea. Now, there are times that a toilet in a set is actually cool. In Ninjago City Market, where the toilet actually works, whereas this one just kind of exists, which is pretty boring in my opinion. However, the rest of the container uses its space actually really well. On one hand, it has a hammock for the Big Fig Sandy to sit on, and on one level lower, it's a place for MK to sit down and play Monkey Mech. Now, hear me out. I would prefer if it was an arcade machine, since we saw the Monkey Mech arcade machine quite a few times. And whilst it wasn't particularly in the HQ, it also hasn't been in literally any other sets either. So if it would be in this set instead of that would be much better, but it's not a giant nitpick. Now let's go into the next container, which is supposed to hold MK's mech. Well, technically, it is also actually 2 containers, since it's also supposed to hold MK's mech, so you can just use it when they get attacked. But when the mech is in here, it's kind of plain. There isn't much in here. It's mostly just wall and floor. since the mech takes up all the space and there isn't too much space for anything else. The next room is the place for Sandy to stand and be able to drive the ship, but in this actual show, it isn't a floor underground, like it's a floor above. So that makes this part also pretty inaccurate, and it's also really plain here. Like, without knowing what this is, and having some basic utter minifigures here, it's pretty much impossible to figure out what this is, because it's just so basic and open. Other than that though, there isn't too much to say about the set, so let's go into the minifigs.
But before I do, I have to ask you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, as my goal was an ambitious 500 subscribers by the end of the year, but now my new goal is just 30 subscribers. I would highly appreciate it if you do subscribe, but let's go back into the video.
Now, as I said before in this set, there are 8 minifigures, and I'm going to start off by reviewing the 3 demon clones. Now, I don't actually really like the usual villain designs in the entirety of the Monkie Kid theme, but they actually did really good at recreating what we saw in the show. And the design of the Demon Bull clones are actually super cool. The head below is unprinted trans red, which is honestly the perfect shade. But even better than that is the actual head mask itself. It's super high quality and is probably one of the coolest head molds throughout the entire show. Like, it's super good. This minifigure didn't come with any actual arm printing or any leg printing, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was in the actual show. Now, there isn't too much else to say about this minifigure, so let's go on into the Sandy Big Fig. Now, why doesn't LEGO make any more big figs for Sandy? Like, the Sandy minifigures we get now just really doesn't work. Like, Sandy is a genuinely big dude, but no, we get these crappy and quite frankly, super inaccurate minifigures. But this Big Fig is actually really cool. It's actually really nicely molded, and even has the purple chakra beads thingies. Of all of the versions of Sandy, this is probably the coolest version. Other than that though, there isn't too much about to say about this minifigure, so let's go on to the next minifigure, which is the one and only Monkie Kid. This is like the most iconic version ever, with his classic orange jacket with the red and black circle shirt. This is literally the most famous version of him, and is also the best version as well. Its pants have printing on the side, and it's actually dual molded, which is super cool. Honestly, I wish this minifigure was used in modern sets as well, since MK is still using this exact same clothes as well. Anyways, the next minifigure is May, and she is wearing her motorcycle outfit. Again, one of the more iconic ones, but not nearly as iconic as some of her other ones. This one is still really cool, and its head mask design is super cool, but something it's missing is that it doesn't have its facial expression on the mask, which is something that really made the helmet stand out that much more originally in the show. Additionally, the color scheme and design on this minifigure is really clean, and while it doesn't have any side printing or arm printing, I'm pretty fine with the design. And now we have finished up reviewing all the minifigures, so let's go on to the conclusion. So this set is actually pretty good. In my opinion, it is like the perfect mix of play features, since it has a few play features, but also looks really good for display as well. Overall, I have to rate this set a solid 8.8 out of 10, purely because of all of its good play features and how nice it looks. But the interior is just a bit plain in some places. The price is also pretty good at $170. Now, I would have loved if it was $150, but $170 is pretty good since it feels like a solid $200 set. And now we have finished up today's review of 80013 LEGO Monkie Kid Team Secret HQ. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and once again, if you've made it this far, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It genuinely means a lot to me, and subscribing shows that people watch my videos and hopefully take something away from it and enjoy it. That is all for this video. Goodbye.